So all this early grass we killed off, and it was super droughty, but then we got some rain in the last week or so, and I think it propped up all the seeds. So unfortunately I didn't get back over to take this out, but we'll turn some of this over, plant the plugs, and we will heavily mulch for the first year, so that hopefully takes care of some of this grass. If not, we'll be filming next year about what a nightmare it is with all the grass seed coming back. So good in there. Prairie dock, cup plants, compass plant, New England aster, Liatris aspera, which is beautiful. Most people know like Liatris cobold, featherleaf cobold, I think it is, but that's the tall purple spiky ones. And foxglove. And this is northern sea oats grass. And everybody's favorite purple coneflower. And that's actually wild quinine. So I'm actually not using a lot of yarrow anymore. So that looks a little bit bad. I've been keeping that alive for the last 4 months in the drought on my driveway. But that's actually wild quinine. And that gets some beautiful white flowers. So that's kind of taking the place of yarrow. Common cinquefoil, and it gets a yellow flower. You can mix this also with wild strawberries, see, and you don't have to grow pachysandra or any other sort of non-native ground cover. But look at it, it's really beautiful. It gets red too. And the deer actually nibbled mine, but it's fine. All right, so now we got some of this common cinquefoil that actually also looks like wild strawberry, but it gets yellow flowers. Real nice runner, doesn't get more than a foot high. So if you can see here, the street and the driveway, we've got some compass plant and some prairie dock, but the compass plant is kind of thin. But we're going to put this on the edge so that we don't block the visibility again of the road, which is something you want to think about with native gardens, because everything gets so high. But make sure that you either do low grasses here or some sort of a ground cover, and don't bring what I call sort of the super talls like the silphiums to the edge of the road, because that'll be too much. So the other interesting thing about this common cinquefoil, just like with wild strawberry, is it really is an under meadow planting. So it kind of, you can see it takes these runners, it'll find the bare space and fill in underneath your taller plants. So it can do the shade, but I also have this growing in sort of bright hot sun on gravel at my house. So it's actually good for filling inside for a low ground cover and on the edge of your prairies, like we just did over there by the road. But it also is a nice big step down, so you don't have the super tall plants right up against where people are walking. So since this is all mostly sun, so this is going to be all native plants. And so what we've got here is prairie dock. So David is just scattering this around at random, no particular order. Sometimes, obviously, people like to do more block planting where you're, grouping everything. But on this one, I don't know. I kind of do more like a bouquet style, and they'll sort themselves out as they start to seed and figure it out. In fact, some of them might end up moving towards the wetter area anyway. But for now, we're just doing random dropping of the plugs for everything that mostly needs sun and dry. So here we're also scattering the cup plants. So this is the silphium. I call them the silphium sisters. So you've got cup plants, rosinweed, prairie dock, and compass plant. They're all kind of super talls too, these especially the cup plant. But what we're also doing for this design is, even though this is random, once we get all these plants in, then we'll come back in with the grasses, and we'll throw in all the little blue stem and the Bouteloua grass, and that'll be all the filler. Because remember, most meadows, if you look at them, are like 60% grass. If it was all flowers, it'd be like Disneyland, and that's not what we're going for. So this is Penchamin digitalis, and I'm going to say hirsute. I've said it wrong, but anyway, I'll put it, it'll be written somewhere. But even though I just said we're going to scatter these things, I'm doing these in clumps. These are super early bloomers, in early June, which is nice because it's one of the first pollinators that come out. So foxglove, lots of people know this as foxglove. So I'm doing little clumps of foxglove. And if you can see here, we've got the driveway and the road, so I don't want to do anything too high here. And these will be at higher when they bloom, but not enough to block the traffic, so they can make sure they can see the kids, or when they're pulling out, make sure there's nobody coming down the roadway. Ooh, this is a muddy day. This is Monarda punctata, if I'm saying that correctly. It's beautiful, look it up. This mostly likes pure sand and sun. We have mostly sand under this, sand and soil. This is West Michigan, so it's clay or sand. This is a very sandy site. I'm gonna do a patch here. It's kind of a biennial, but after the second year, when this is producing, it should have enough seeds that it'll keep coming back into the garden, even though it's even though it looks like the plant's kind of gone. So yeah, so it's worth it in the garden. All right, so now that once we have most of the main flowers in, we still got more plugs going in. The last thing I do, we've got for most of this meadow through here, these are more short, but I've got a Bouteloua grass and I got little blue stem. We got big blue stem on that side, but little blue for here. And so really, again, since most meadows are mostly grass, basically what I do with all these, this is a filler. So any place that there's still a spot, I come by at the end after the flowers are in and I fill them all in with grass. Please, if you like these videos, please like it and subscribe to the channel. And you know, we're just trying to make native gardening easier for everyone. Enjoy.